And we're live on match day as Doug reaches for a buffalo wing. He's got it! Oh, and he's gone for a can of Pepsi too! What a finish! There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi.
Excuse me! Taxi!
Come on, what are you doing? This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, let's go to KT McFarland, former Deputy National Security Advisor. And President Trump clearly is fed up. You probably saw this latest comment that he put out there, KT, and it's a doozy.
Yeah, well, you guys are all right. John, if they get out of line or screw up or whatever they're going to continue to do, I think President Trump then has the world with him when he responds. And I think that the target will be the IRGC leadership. And here's why. There are two groups, there are probably a lot of groups in Iran, but there are two main groups. And Trump is negotiating with the so-called moderates. They're not moderates. They're all crazy and crazier. But he's the pragmatists who know they have a country to run. That's who he's negotiating with. The guys who want to sabotage this are the IRGC.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
And so what they're doing is the IRGC kind of, nicking in here and a little something there, and they know that if they kill Israelis, that Israel has to respond. And then Iran can say, or the IRGC in Iran can say, oh, see, they've broken the ceasefire. So they're looking for a way to sabotage the same way that in early October, before the October 7th attacks, Saudi Arabia was about to join the Abraham Accords. The Crown Prince announced it, and Bibi Netanyahu announced it, and they said, well, we're negotiating. We're about a week or two away from having Saudi Arabia join the Abraham Accords, and that's when Iran did the same thing. They sabotaged that by unleashing on October 7th. So they're saboteurs. They know they don't have enough power to run the country, but they have enough power. Certainly don't have enough power to defeat the United States, but they have enough power to sabotage. And so that's what they're doing. That's why I think President Trump is cool. He expected this would happen, and he's got a plan B.
Yeah, what do you think that plan B is?
What John said. There'll be a military plan B, and there'll be an economic plan B. So plan B is to reinstate the blockade, which will blockade Iranian ports, but everybody else can have free transit through the strait.
KT, I also said, and maybe you have an idea, if Iran has money to give to Hezbollah, or Iran has money, that means one of our theoretical allies is lying to us and doesn't have the courage to stand up because Iran has threatened them they're going to take out their refinery or something like that. Yes. Who would you suspect doesn't have the courage to stand up?
I would say Qatar. I mean, who knows who it is? I know that several of those, so the Saudis and others, have gone to the president and said, look, if you do take out their final military targets, we're concerned that you get a lot of their military assets, but they'll have enough left to take out the Saudis, Bahrain, Kuwait, et cetera, take out their military energy infrastructure, and that's bad for the economy. It's certainly bad for those countries. So I think that's why they convinced President Trump to, quote, stay his hand and not, quote, finish the job. Will Iran do that? Yeah, I'm sure they will. But what Iran has done very foolishly is early on in the war, when they were trying to hit anybody they could, they hit those luxury hotels in Dubai. And what happened was that the Emirati banks, which is where a lot of the Iranian offshore kept, especially the IRGC money, they went to the U.S. Treasury and said, okay, here are the books. We're opening our books to you. You can see where the IRGC keeps its money. And then the second thing that the crypto world did was that somehow the U.S. Treasury has figured out how to assess and access the crypto accounts of the IRGC because they were money laundering. And those things have been shut down. So if Iran starts to be tricky, if the IRGC tries to be tricky, we can not only militarily attack them, the way John said, and I think that the target will be the IRGC leadership, and the other target will be the IRGC's bank accounts.
Yeah, and that is the big deal. What do you make of the fact in this message, and we were just talking before the show, it's fascinating because he's clearly furious when he says they are finished, and then he says, we'll play out the 60 days. So how do you read that?
I think President Trump is trying to get in the head and scramble the brains of the IRGC and the Iranian leadership. That he's trying to, people say, oh, well, Iran's trying to drive a wedge between the United States and Israel. Well, I think President Trump's trying to drive a wedge between the different groups in Iran. President Trump could, within a few hours, take out the military targets that we've talked about. And John is right. We know exactly where all of those leaders are in the IRGC.
And so does Israel. Israel knows where they are, too.
I've seen those satellite pictures. We can read, like, the name tags on somebody's jacket. We have such unbelievable satellite capability of knowing where they are. So would these guys be taken out? Yeah, be taken out in a heartbeat. So as Trump says, we've gotten we killed off the tier 1, then tier 2. Now we're under the tier 3 leadership. Well, we could just go tier 4, tier 5.
Yeah, and let's hope we do that soon. Go ahead, Ed.
KT, there's a basic military question here, and I don't know if you have the answer or not, but maybe you've heard. Can we militarily clear the straits in order for ships to go through there safely?
We have already cleared the southern route, and that's near the Omani shore. Yes, we can certainly do that. We have done that. We may have to escort vessels, and that's not a long-range solution to it because it's expensive, et cetera. So the way we take out anybody attacking is that we see them from a distance. The missile can hit any missile, but the real threat would come from those little speedboats, those little Boston whalers that have machine guns on them, and we can certainly take those out. The United States military Navy is not going to be done in by what a couple of speedboats in the so-called Iranian Navy. So we have the ability to do it. The northern route, on the north side of the strait, and that's the one closest to the Iranian shore, is more problematic for the reasons that I've just said. It's those little speedboats and Boston whalers that are hiding in coves, and they could come out and attack a ship. So the problem is not that we couldn't defend it and we couldn't clear it. It's what are the insurance companies going to do? Because if the insurance companies won't insure those vessels because they think there's some risk, then it is effective as if the strait was mined. That's why I'm very surprised. When President Trump, remember when he said a couple of weeks ago that, well, we, the United States, would give the insurance policies,
exactly.
the insurance policies for those ships, and sort of nothing happened with it.
Yeah.
I would hope we revisit that.
Hey, KT, one thing, and Ed and I, we were talking about this earlier. I don't know the answer to this. We don't. Have there been any Iranian ships that have gotten through? Have they been able to move their oil at all since this deal?
100% no. They have been absolutely bottled up. They've said a couple of times, the Iranians have said, oh, we got our ships through. No, they didn't. The Central Command has said that any Iranian vessel, whether it's an oil tanker or some other ship, carrying consumer goods, does not get into the Iranian harbor or out of the Iranian harbor.
But what about now that they signed this memorandum, though? That's what we're asking.
I don't know. This is so. President Trump said that it's. What did the vice president say? That it was signed 2 days ago, and then today it goes into effect. So are we letting ships in? I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the last sort of 6 hours. Are we letting vessels in or out? But the fact that we told our negotiators don't go, I think means that everything's kind of put on hold. But I don't know. That's a decision that the president makes. And
I don't know either. That's why we weren't sure either. Yeah. That's why it's an interesting point. We'll give Ed Cox credit for that.
I suspect the blockade's still there.
I would assume. Still there. Yeah. Whether we have started letting some go in and out, some Iranian ships either bound to or bound from Iran, in or out, I don't know. But within 2 minutes, the president makes the call, and all of a sudden, no Iranian ships are going to get in or out. So our armada is still there. Our military capability is there, and they're probably all itching to resume the blockade.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see where it is. As John was saying, it's a roller coaster. Yeah,
it changes every hour on the hour. So I ask everybody out there, don't get excited. They specialize in trying to get you excited. They specialize in taking you up and down the roller coaster. Yeah, so it's all a lot of crap. At the end of the day, we win.
totally. I mean, we completely win. But you're right, John. There's a lot of vested interest in taking us up and down the roller coaster. And the roller coaster, that is the best explanation. That is the best way of envisioning what's happening right now. We'll go up and down that roller coaster for another couple of weeks.
Buckle up, right? Buckle up.
Well, it'll go down, it'll be...
What happened to the merry-go-round, though? That seems to me it's also a merry-go-round.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that too. That's true.
A little bit of that.
KT, thank you so much, and have a great weekend, and we'll see where the roller coaster goes.
Thank you so much,
Happy
KT.
Father's Day, John, and
Thank
all
you.
the rest of
Yes,
you.
and all the other guys here too. Absolutely.
all the other
KT.
fathers.
And to your wonderful husband too, KT.
Thank you so much.